Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode number 9 of Adoption, a Breakdown. And today, as you can tell from the title, we're going to be doing something a little different. Taking a little break from the serious podcast episodes where I kind of rant and vent and stuff. We're going to have go through top famous people who are adopted and react to them as an adopted person. I want to give my 2 cents on them and just do a little fun, kind of quick bullet points, look down the row of people who've been adopted and all that stuff. So, without further ado, we're going to start with Babe Ruth. That's right. The Babe Ruth. Who did he play for? The Red Sox? I'm just kidding. He played for the Yankees, I'm pretty sure. But, yeah, I played baseball, Little League as a kid. For like 3 or 4 years. I was okay. I wasn't crazy. I came close to a home run once. It hit like the middle of the fence, halfway up. I'm not a huge baseball fan now, but Babe Ruth reminds me of The Sandlot, the movie. And I love that movie. He's like referenced a bunch in it, and there's like a guy who, pretends to be Babe Ruth in it. And the guy has that one. He says that one line, was it, heroes are remembered, but legends never die, something like that. Don't quote me on it. Good movie. So, for that, I'm going to give Babe Ruth an A grade. Oh, yeah, also I'm grading. I'm grading these people on letter grades. I thought about doing a tier list, but I think letter grades is a little easier for me to do. Babe Ruth, A. Sandlot, good stuff. Moving on to number 2, we have Eleanor Roosevelt, the wife of FDR. She was the longest serving first lady. What was it, like 4? I think she served for 4 terms or something like that. She did a lot of political work focusing on human rights. I don't know that much about politics and presidents. I don't know that much about FDR. But, she was focusing on human rights stuff. I think that's really great. I'm trying not to say the wrong thing because I don't know that much about her, FDR's policies or any of that stuff. That's right. I slept during school. Sue me. I'm trying to remember. I think we learned about this in school, I think. But I'll give Eleanor an A grade for focusing on human rights. I think that's good. Very good stuff. Now here's the doozy. Here's the poster boy. Steve Jobs. I had an iPhone 6 years ago. It was good. I currently have an Android. Yeah, that's right. I'm one of those guys. Steve was a brilliant marketing expert. I like Michael Fassbender, who portrayed him in one of the movies. Magneto, very cool. X-Men. I'm just remembering now, I think Ashton Kutcher also portrayed Steve Jobs in a movie, biopic type thing about him. But interestingly enough, Steve Jobs, he had cancer, and he could have lived longer if he hadn't tried to feng shui his cancer away. He even admitted that. And Ashton Kutcher, tried to method act in his movie that he was doing about Steve Jobs. And he, tried eating like Steve Jobs. And Ashton got sick. I remember hearing about that. And I was like, yeah, that's not good. Not good. But Steve Jobs, Apple, if you look into the stuff he did, just with Apple, and he had a hand in creating Lucasfilms, what would become Lucasfilms. He was involved with Pixar. His story is really interesting because there's a lot of people say, was Steve Jobs too harsh and how he approached business? He succeeded at Apple, and then Microsoft, good old Bill the Goat Gates. I'm not sure if Bill Gates is the most rich guy. I think Jeff Bezos is the most rich guy. I think Bill Gates, Bill Gates pushed Steve Jobs, away from monopolizing the tech market, and as Steve Jobs, as Bill Gates rose in prominence and Microsoft rose in prominence, Steve Jobs and Apple were kind of floundering. And I think around that time, the Apple board cut him out, and that's when Steve left and worked on Pixar and worked on Lucasfilm, and they worked on, I think, a tech company called Next or iNext or something like that, and it was okay. It was doing decent, and then Apple bought that company out, and then later on, Steve Jobs returned to Apple, and that's the Steve Jobs that most people know, the marketing genius guy that, pivoted Apple into all these different areas and all these different products, iPhone, iPad, all the different, stuff that Apple's really known for today. I think he died when he was 56 or something like that. He's still he still had quite a few more years in front of him. If he hadn't spent, I think he spent 6 to 9 months trying to feng shui his cancer away, and he eventually tried. I don't remember if it was his liver or something else, but his pancreas or something. That's not right. I can't remember off the top of my head. But later on, he did get a transplant, but by then it was too late, and so he succumbed. But all that said and done, I'll give Steve Jobs an A minus. A minus. Now, I don't want this. I want this video to not be super long. I'm going to try to move through some of these a little quicker than that. Next, number 4 is Melissa Gilbert. Some of you are like, huh? Some of you are like, who? Melissa Gilbert is one of the main actors from Little House on the Prairie. She was Laura Ingalls Wilder, I think. But that show reminds me of my wonderful neighbors that I had grew up that would sometimes watch The Little House on the Prairie. It wasn't my favorite show from that area. I really preferred Bonanza. I mean, that Bonanza's theme song is like, even today, like so good. I mean, it's just iconic. I mean, in my mind, like you had like John Wayne, and then you had like Bonanza. That was like the competitor to John Wayne. But and actually, it's funny now that I mention it. The father that was in Little House on the Prairie was in Bonanza as one of the sons. But like I remember growing up, when we go on vacation and like VCRs were still a thing. Sometimes I would watch VCRs of Bonanza. So that's not Little House on the Prairie, it's not Melissa Gilbert, but all that reminds me of that. So I'll give Melissa Gilbert a B. No offense, sorry. Moving on to famous adopted person number 5 is John Hancock. A lot of, John Hancock. A lot of political people so far. I guess that's only 2. Sorry. John Hancock. Name twins. We share the first name. He is the guy when it comes to signing things. His name is synonymous with signature. He's rumored to have been a smuggler, but the historical accuracy is questionable. So in my mind, my headcanon is that he's pretty much the real life Han Solo. And just for that possibility, I'll give him an A+. A+, John Hancock, Han Solo. Number 6. This is a name some of you should know. Michael Orr. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Straight off the rip, I'm giving Michael Orr an A+. I don't want him to eat me if I give him a bad grade. Nah. But seriously, I mean, he is the real life person that Blindside, the movie with Sandra Bullock, was based off of. And I mean, Sandra Bullock, I mean, she's great. I mean, love Miss Congeniality. I mean, come on. But I mean, Blindside, I mean, if you haven't seen that movie, it's it's kind of like a stereotypical feel-good movie, but it's wholesome, it's heartfelt, it's good. There's a good chance in the future I'll do a review of The Blind Side. Maybe Miss Congeniality too. I don't know. It just depends how I'm feeling. But yeah, Michael Orr, A+. Number 7. We're going to Nelson Mandela. There's a meme about him and Barack Obama being confused for each other. For those of you that don't know about memes. But aside from that, Nelson Mandela's, he's the legendary South African president. Did all the stuff that was anti-apartheid. Legendary, iconic. I'm gonna give him an A+, but honestly, he deserves an S+, which is a tier above. Number 8 is an interesting fellow, Leo Tolstoy. Now, some of you theologians out there might be familiar with this guy. He's very big in the Christian community. He gets a W from me because there are a lot of things he believed in that I think are good ideas. One of the things that he talks about that he doesn't like is the how churches have kind of missed the mark in terms of like modern churches. And in my life, I've gone through 8 to 9 different churches and definitely seen some of those struggles, so I totally get it. But yeah, Tolstoy is a huge, dare I say, Christian philosopher that a lot of Christians appreciate. He has a lot of, I think, good ideas that modern Christians should reconsider, and it's good stuff. It's real salt of the earth kind of guy. But yeah, he gets a W from me. Now to keep it political, number 9 is Nancy Reagan. She did the Just Say No to Drugs campaign, which is an automatic F-. But asterisk, I found out that she took care of Ronald Reagan after he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's from 1994 to 2004. So we'll bump that F- up just a smidge to A+ for that. So shout out to Nancy Reagan. Now here, this next guy, number 10. This guy is a very interesting man. I think a lot of people will respect and appreciate this next man. Dave Thomas. Dave Thomas is the wonderful individual who started Wendy's. Wendy's. I want to say that joke so bad, but I don't think I can right now. I'm going to hold off. But for those of you, if you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, Wendy's, I don't like Wendy's as much as McDonald's, if I'm being honest, but I like Wendy's more than Burger King. He lived in Fort Wayne, Indiana for a bit, which is where my ex-girlfriend is from. Fun fact. He also helped Colonel Sanders really turn KFC around and help it become what it is today. It's really interesting. He in the 2000s and late 90s, they made like a ton of commercials with him in it. So if you go online, you can actually still find commercials for Wendy's with him, like doing cuts and promos for Wendy's, and it's pretty cool to look back and kind of see that stuff he did. But I mean, Wendy's pretty solid. I would say food wise at Wendy's, the chili is good. The Frosties are good. The fries are average. And I would say the burgers are average. But like I said, if McDonald's is busy, I'll go to Wendy's before I go to Burger King. And if Wendy's is busy, I'll go to Burger King. All that to give Dave Thomas an A. Moving on to number 11. Out of 13, 11 is Edgar Allan Poe. Edgar Allan Poe, he's a sad boy goth. I'm going to give him an E for emo. But I was looking up information about Edgar Allan Poe. And I guess he inherited what would be worth in today's currency $18 million. And then lost a lot of it gambling. Then his fiance ended up marrying a different guy. She went along and saw my man losing money gambling and was like, no thank you. So yeah, Edgar Allan Poe lost a bunch of money, lost his love. I mean, I get it. I'd write poems about ravens and telltale hearts and stuff too. If that happened to me, because that would suck, like, to be honest. So, number 12, rounding out our political candidates for famous adopted people, is Gerald Ford. At 6 foot, 200 pounds, he looks like he could run through a brick wall. Probably to make a football team out of USA presidents. He'd be a wide receiver or defensive back. A plus. I have no idea what sort of politician he was. I don't understand any of his policies. Like I said, I'm pretty uninvolved when it comes to politics. That's just how I am. But Gerald Ford, I think he'd be a good, definitely be part of the starting lineup. I'd like to see Teddy Roosevelt also on that team. I'd like to see Howard Taft on that team. I don't know how rugged the founding fathers were, but some of those guys have got to be stout guys. I think George Washington was stout. I know Abraham Lincoln was tall. I mean, come on. If we're talking fantasy football, it doesn't get more fantasy football than the founding fathers chugging the old pigskin around. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I'm giving Gerald Ford an A+. And rounding out our list of famous adopted people is Simone Biles, which I think I pronounced that right. She has 4 Olympic gold medals, is the gymnast with the most world medals at 25 of them. And among many other accolades, she's the first American female gymnast to win a world medal on every event. I mean, come on. A+. No brainer. That's insane. That is just absolutely. I think that, I'm trying to remember. I think those were, she competed in the 2016 Olympic Games. I think that's right. And, that is right. I remember watching some of those Olympic events with some friends in college. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember. Wow. Gosh, that was 6 years ago. I was 23. Gosh. Don't get old, people. Happens to everybody. But anyway, Simone Biles, 2016. Crazy gymnast, Olympic winner. Crazy. A+. Easy. And that is it for the list of famous adopted people. There are a few things that some of these people have in common. There are a lot of political figures, but that's going to happen when you look at a list of famous adopted people. But, when you look at other things, if you kind of take that away and you say, what sort of other things are in common with these people, there really isn't a lot of things that these people share in common other than that they're adopted. And, I think that's, to be completely, to be serious, all jokes aside, I think that's really cool, is to see all these people become successful in their own areas, and overcome their own issues with adoption and not let that hold them back. I think for me, that's something that I struggled with growing up, and I'm sure lots of other people who are adopted struggle with, and have to overcome. And these people did it, and I think it's awesome, and I love the fact that they can all be idols and role models for people who have been adopted. I think my personal favorite, if I had to pick out of these, is easily Dave Thomas, but it's just because I like fast food, and I'm a foodie. So, but there you go. That is my reaction to 13 famous adopted people. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll hope to see you on the next episode of Adoption and Breakdown. Bye.